All right, hey everybody. I thought I would answer a question and do a video this week on how I got started on YouTube and what did I learn on how to get it going. I think there's a lot of you out there that probably want to start it and just don't know where or how. It can be pretty intimidating, and there's definitely an endless amount of possibilities on content and methods and strategies on how to get your YouTube going. So yeah, let's dive in and I'll see if I can help you out. So I wasn't ever planning on really doing a YouTube channel. I knew after I retired from the fire department that I just wanted to get into off-road desert racing, and naturally I used YouTube as my educational platform to learn how to do that. I learned about all the sanctioning bodies. I learned about off-road racing trucks and trophy trucks and what technology was into it. I learned certain fabrication techniques and skills that I used during the build of the truck. When I first started the build, I didn't really think much of it because I built other racing vehicles in my life, and but this one was a real challenge. These things are pretty technical, as you guys have watched and followed me. Friends and family really made it a big deal that I was building this thing, and at the time I didn't really think it was that big of a deal, but then I realized, wow, it's kind of inspiring other people, and I've always been one that really likes to educate and inspire others to jump out of the box and don't be afraid to try new things. You can't succeed in something if you don't try. If you don't try, you've already failed. So, and we live in a great country that enables us the freedom to do whatever we want. So it was natural when the epiphany came to me. It was only natural to start a YouTube video log of the entire build of the truck and try to inspire others to do the same thing. But the first hurdle I had to overcome was I don't know anything about social media. I knew nothing about video uploads, much less sitting in front of a camera and talking to yourself, you know. So that's probably the big fear as to why I get a lot of the questions from probably people around my age, like, how did you do it? You know, how did you get over that fear of talking in front of a camera? So going back, you know, I relied on YouTube to watch successful creators and get their advice. There's a ton of videos and a ton of tutorials and educational videos on how to start your YouTube channel. But I'll be honest with you, even though the content that they're providing is extremely valuable, they were still at a level that was way above me. They were using terminology and vocabulary and acronyms and stuff that I had no idea what they were talking about. So I had to start at ground zero. I had to, not even kindergarten level, I was at like preschool level. You know, I'm 49 years old, never had a Facebook or any social media stuff. I knew nothing about it. So I think there's a lot of you out there that are probably in the same boat. And so I'm gonna connect with you on that level. My whole entire career was based on the simple, keep it simple. Keep it really simple, you know, keep it simple, stupid, KISS is what we called it in the fire department, you know. So that's what I'm going to do in this video, is keep it very simple, where to start, because for me that was a really good platform of what to build on. And you know, my channel grew way more than I ever expected it is, and it's still growing. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today. The first thing is that I needed was a subject. And my subject was my race truck, building the truck and then following our racing. This was important because not only was it already here, and it's going to be a big, long process, I was going to be able to get lots of content out of it. It already has a huge audience, and you want to pick a subject that has an audience already. Don't try to build your new audience. Don't try to be super unique in what you're trying to get out there. Find a passion or a hobby, whatever it is you enjoy, and look at other videos or that field, that subject, and see if it has a huge audience. You know, mine is racing. Racing's huge. It has a huge audience. You know, there's NASCAR, there's off-roads, there's hot rodding, there's, you know, rock crawlers, you know, there's all kinds of racing. So the racing community as a whole is my audience. So I already knew I had the subject matter. I'm going to build my truck, and then I know it has an audience with it. So that's the first thing you got to figure out is what you want to make your videos. Does it have an audience? If you're trying to build your own, it's going to be really, really difficult. If you're trying to make a career out of it and generate revenue from your videos, it's going to be even more difficult and more disappointing. And that's one thing early on. You have to really persevere. You have to really endure the ups and the downs. You know, I've posted some videos that had 30,000 views. The next month I post one and it's got like 50, you know, so it's just what it is. You have to take the highs with the lows. So be prepared for that. Don't get discouraged. Keep putting out the content and make sure you have a subject matter that already has an audience. So going back, I already had my subject matter. It's racing. Now I needed to figure out, well, how am I gonna film it, you know? I knew nothing about cameras or GoPros or anything like that. Had a smartphone, but literally only used it to take pictures out on fires and make phone calls. So if you want to use your smartphone, you can, because the technology of phones and the cameras in the phones are incredible now and do really high quality pictures and videos. You can, you know, I had asked myself, do I want to go buy a really expensive Canon camera that can do stills and all kinds of fancy stuff? You know, I didn't really know how much money I wanted to invest in this just yet, you know. So I quickly came to the conclusion, though, that I did want to go with a GoPro. It's kind of the extreme sports camera, right? Everybody knows what a GoPro is. They're durable. They do really good quality video. But again, they can be pretty expensive. You know, for a really good GoPro, you're looking at $500 and up. And not knowing really what I wanted to invest in it, I started searching for them. Maybe there's some used ones out there. Well, that quickly became an issue because I didn't want to buy somebody else's junk, a camera that had already had issues and whatnot. But on eBay, I was able to find some reconditioned ones, and there's a few companies out there that offer small warranties with the reconditioned cameras, and they're under $200. I think I got this one. This was like $120. It's a little GoPro 7 Silver. It's kind of limited on the features, but it's durable, and this is literally the first one that I've bought. And it's been beat up in the truck. It's got welding spatter all over it, and it's still going strong, and it does really good videos. It's easy to upload. And I had a little bit of confidence in it because the company that refurbished it offered a little bit of a warranty. So I figured if they're gonna warranty their work, it must be okay. It'll at least get me started. So you got your content, you gotta figure out your camera, and now how far do you go with the filming, right? Do you want to go with super good lighting or what? Well, I didn't really give much of a care to that because I knew most of my filming was going to be here in the shop. And when I built the shop, it's got lots of good LED lighting. And I know lighting's important in a video, especially the ones that I watched on trying to learn how to do this. Camera angles and making sure the content is lit well, and your viewers are going to be able to see what the heck you're talking about. But again, I was trying to keep it very, very simple. And I knew, especially the way I work in the shop when I'm building this thing, is I'm all over the place. I'm like 900 miles an hour. And for me to have to like move reflective shades and mirrors and lights and stuff all the time, it was just going to take me forever. I'm not gonna lie, I was on a really tight time crunch when we were first building this for the first Mint 400. So I relied on keeping it simple again, and I knew that the shop had decent lighting and it was just gonna work. So I kept it really simple. I didn't worry about lighting. I had my GoPro, I had my little $8 tripod that worked really well because I can wrap the legs around it, around things for good camera positions, and just run with it. So then it comes to your next big hurdle, right? You've got your content, you got your audience, you got your camera. The next big hurdle was talking to this stupid little tiny device that is so scary. And I tried scripting it out, right? I tried practicing and it just wasn't working. And you know, whenever I make a video, even to this day, I let my wife watch it and I trust her opinion 100%. You know, when she says, no, it's good, go with it, I do. I don't make any changes. But she's really honest with me and she tells me where I should change things or whatever, mostly spelling errors because I'm terrible at typing. So that'll help you a little bit. Well, let me back up. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. Scripting. There's some content creators online right now that say, you know, write a script and make little bullet points for you to touch on and stuff. And it just didn't work for me. It seemed too fake. It was too hard to follow, you know. I just thought, and I got this information from my wife, that's where I was going with it. Well, she was just like, just be yourself, you know. You speak well enough and you know, you're kind of likable. Just be yourself. And she was right. And I think that's probably the best advice I can give to anybody that's trying to do this is just talk. Just explain what it is you're doing, you know, show it. You know, if you're a father, and this is what I did, I'm a dad, and I love when my kids were little of me showing them things of what I was doing. I kind of went into that mindset a little bit as just like I was talking to them or talking to anybody that I was teaching or just showing, and I just explained what I was doing. I didn't worry about trying to sound a certain way. I didn't worry about if I fumbled my words and missaid anything. I just left it, and I don't even edit those out because it's natural, it's real, and it's honest. And, you know, I like to think that my viewers appreciate that. You know, I'm not some professional videographer guy. And I'm not a professional actor or anything. I'm just a dude building a race vehicle, trying to inspire other people that want to do the same or build anything you want. So I thought, I got to keep it honest and just keep it real. And I'm just going to talk. And for whatever reason, that helped me get over the fear of talking to the camera, because I feel like now that I have a lot of viewers and a lot of subscribers, I honestly feel like I'm talking to you, you know. And really, once you do your first video and you throw it out there and you have a friends or family or your spouse look at it and they say, no, it's good, and you upload it on YouTube and you actually watch it, you get over that fear pretty quick. It only takes one or two. And then you're really cool about it. And I don't know, it kind of gives it purpose and a lot of pride that you're able to do it. So yeah, that's my advice, is just be yourself and just talk about what you know, talk about what you're passionate about, and it'll just flow. It'll come naturally. And that audience that's out there that you're trying to go after will connect with you, and they'll come. And that's about it, you know. So keep it simple, and yeah, don't overthink it. And then I can show you the cameras later in the, keep watching, and later in the video. Sorry, I keep burping. I had a Diet Pepsi a little bit ago, and boy, this I'm belching like crazy. But anyway, keep watching later in the video and I'll go over how I upgraded in the cameras. I'm filming on a GoPro 8 right now, and it's finally enabled me to use the microphone. I don't use it a whole lot when I'm in the shop, especially when I'm welding and stuff, because I noticed that the frequency of the welders really interfere with it. And so I just kind of don't. But today I decided to, because I'm doing more of a I don't know, what do you call this? Educational? No, they're all educational, huh? Yeah, whatever, you get it. So yeah, keep it real simple and just be yourself. So let's recap real quick. You know, you got to have your content. Find your subject matter that you want to talk on. Make sure it already has an audience out there. And then you know, your filming device, camera, phone, whatever you choose. And then just be yourself. The fear, I really believe just being yourself will get you over the fear of talking to the camera. You feel a little weird at first because you're talking to this little thing, and you know I was like, didn't want my neighbors to hear me and stuff, but they all know I'm a YouTuber now, I guess, so it's no big deal. So the next thing was video editing, and this was quite a challenge for me. So yeah, we'll get into that. Okay, so now you've got your video content, right? Your subject that you want to make the video of. You've got the target audience that you want to tap into. You've got your camera. And you've gotten over the stage fright, camera fright, whatever you want to call it. So the next step would be editing. Now you may not want to edit your video. Oh, you're a little crooked. Here, let me straighten you up. Maybe you don't want to edit your video. Maybe you want to upload exactly what you just filmed, and that's totally fine, right? But let's say you want to add a little bit of extra features to it. Well, there's lots and lots of editing programs out there. You can even use the GoPro app. GoPro, when you buy the cameras, they come with an editing software, and it can all be done through the phone. You can even turn the cameras on and off remotely through your phone. You can even remotely view what the camera is showing through your phone. So I tried that software, and for whatever reason, it just didn't work for me. So what I use is Movavi. It's M-O-V-A-V-I, and I won't go too far into it. I'll save that for another video. But what I found about Movavi was its simplicity. Some of the programs, some of the editing software and programs out there are really simple, and almost too simple, to where they don't have enough features, at least not enough features that I wanted to do my videos. You know, I wanted to be able to put some graphics into it and some exciting music, because after all, it's kind of an adrenaline sport that I'm gonna be documenting, you know, in a race truck. So I found a software, Movavi, that is pretty inexpensive. There's a lot of free ones, but the ones you don't pay for are limited on those features. So I recommend paying a little bit for it. I think Movavi is like $12 or $14 a month, and the features, there's so many that I don't even use them all. And I won't get too far into it, but there's lots of transitions, there's lots of special effects. They have their own music and sound effects bank that you can use if you want. So look into it, it's Movavi, but research them and check them all out. Most of them come with free trials, and they work really well. And then as far as sound effects, I use what's called featured music, and I learned this kind of the hard way. One of the early videos I did, I had my radio on in the shop, just playing a radio station, a local Vegas radio station. And I filmed, did all my editing, and then published it. And halfway through publishing it, I got red flagged in the kickback, and they wouldn't let me upload it to YouTube because the YouTube police picked up on the trademarked music, copyrighted music that was playing in the background. It really surprised me because it was pretty sensitive and you couldn't really hear it all that well, but they did. And so they will pick up on copyrighted music, and if you're not paying for it, you can't use it. It might be something that I look into later so I can get some more modern, you know, top hits, whatever tunes on there. But for now, the featured music site, I think it's like $40 a year. It has just an enormous cache of really, really good music of all different genres. It's got sound effects, blooper music, you know, tunes and all kinds of stuff. It's really the most complicated part to me about making my videos is the overwhelming choices of music. So that takes the longest because I really want to match the music to the content, you know. So yeah, check out Movavi and Future Music and check them all out, and even check out the GoPro app because it works pretty well also. Okay, so I want to touch base a little bit more on the cameras. You know, I mentioned before that I started out with a 7 silver. Let's see if I can open it out of the case. You know, I got it because, you know, it was inexpensive and it was refurbished, but it was inexpensive and it worked really good, and it still works to this day. It worked really well in the shop, and it was durable. The battery lasted a long time. I do recommend, if you're going to be doing this, really invest in the GoPro recommended SD cards, really large SD cards. They are a little expensive. I think the one that I'm running in the 8 right now is a $100 card. I think the one in this is like a $40 or $50 card, and you want to get one that has a lot of space on it and is formatted, because I learned that if you have a card that isn't formatted or not big enough, the camera has to work really, really hard to store that data of the high definition video onto the card, and it burns up the battery really, really fast. Plus, not to mention, you got to have it big enough to store the entire video. Some of my videos are only 15 to 30 minutes long when they're finally done and uploaded, but I probably have 4, 5, 6 hours of footage that has made up that 15 or 30 minute video. So you want to make sure that you have a card that's large enough to store all that, and large enough that your camera doesn't have to work very hard to cram it into the card. Also, really invest in good batteries. I've upgraded all of these batteries. I have extra batteries with a multi-bank charger, and keeping a good fresh battery that is fully cycled all the time. Run them all the way to dead, and then fully charge them. Try not to, you know, go halfway with them. But the 7 worked really well, and all my other cameras were 7s. Excuse me, still burping. And it worked really good in the shop, but then I ran into a problem because I wanted to get the microphone. And one thing I didn't know, and this might be common knowledge to GoPro fanatics out there, but I didn't know that a GoPro 7 Silver is not compatible with an external microphone. I had bought this microphone, and it's one similar that a YouTuber, ABOM79 uses, and I really liked the one that he had in his videos, and so I searched for it and I bought one similar, and when I hooked it up to my camera in the shop to use, it wouldn't work. There's an adapter that I'll show you right here that you got to get. So I got the adapter and I hooked it all up and everything, and I couldn't get any sound, and it really bummed me out because I really wanted to give my viewers the full racing experience. I wanted them to be able to hear us, Brett and I, talking between each other and talking back to the pit during a race with the in-car camera. So as you all know that have followed me, I really ran into a lot of frustration and issues trying to do that. And ultimately what it came down to was, you know, I just didn't do enough research on the camera itself, and it wasn't externally mic compatible. So be aware of that. Get a camera that you can hook up an external mic to. The camera that I'm filming right now, unfortunately I can't show you, but I'll show you a picture right here. It's a GoPro 8 Black, and I finally just had come to the point in my YouTube journey that I just had to bite the bullet and spend the money and get the camera. I got this from the GoPro Amazon store. It was a GoPro 8 Black. It came with a bunch of accessories and another microphone adapter. And I think I got the whole thing. It was under $500 with a little bit of a discount coupon. So I think the 8 Black is probably the best one for what I'm going to be using it for. It's high definition, it's external mic and external light compatible, and really durable, and it fits in the same cases as the 7, which I've already got like a dozen cases for the 7. So so just be aware when you're searching for your cameras, you know, it's no problem to start out early with something like I did. But as you evolve, you want to make sure and do your homework and don't waste any money on something that's not going to work for you later. So the microphone that I got, it's an Amazon thing. Oops, I just dropped it. This is the receiver that plugs into the camera. It's made by Boya. I think this entire kit, microphone, it's wireless. I wear the transmitter and the camera plugs into the receiver. And I think this whole thing was like $70. And like I said, it's wireless, and so far it works really well. You know, I'm hoping to use it more because I'm going to do more of these little tutorial videos. But and maybe I'll use it more in the shop if I can figure out the feedback issue. So yeah, those are the cameras I use. I think I have 4 or 5 7s. I've got one 5 that's on its last legs. It's not going to last much longer. And then I've got the 8, and I'm probably going to purchase another 8 this year. Just because they work so well inside the truck. And again, with all these, there's a lot of GoPro professionals out there that know a lot more about them. You know, I'm probably barely even touching the tip of the iceberg as far as the features that these things have. So it's a learning process. I'm trying to keep this video simple because that's how I started out, just keeping it really simple. Get your subject matter, make sure your subject matter's got an audience. Get over the stage fright, just be normal. And then, you know, edit your video to your liking, have a close friend or a spouse or somebody review it, trust their opinion, don't be offended by it, and then, you know, publish it. The next thing is just be patient, but be consistent and be persistent. You know, like I said, I've had videos that I put out there that have 30, 40,000 views, and then I've got some that have like 20 views. You know, you just got to keep going at it and not give up, and think outside the box, really push your limits. You know, don't be afraid to try new content. Stay within your, you know, umbrella of subject matter that you like, and just do it. Just go out there and film it and put it out there and see what happens. I'm constantly learning. I just took a really good free online academy put on by Think Media, Sean Cannell, and I learned a lot. It was really, really good. A lot of it was stuff that I've already been trying, so I kind of was like, okay, cool, I'm on the right track. You know, I'm thinking the right path. Other stuff was just like a light bulb, like, oh man, that's genius. I didn't think of that. But the big thing in his message was just don't give up, stay persistent, and put in the hard work, and you can do it. You know, there's some creators out there that are just killing it, making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month. And that's amazing, but you got to put in the hard work and don't get discouraged. You know, when you fail, it's still not a failure. You learn from that. That's knowledge, and just keep pushing forward, and you'll get it. So, all right, I think that's about it. If you got any more questions or anything, please leave a comment in the video. If you like this and you want more content like this, let me know. And please like and subscribe. And I'll put out another video about the Movavi and the featured music too. Because again, it's a really good program. It's really simple. So, but yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.